Hi guys, Steve Elliott here. Hope you're having a great day. Today I'm going to show you how I drew this portrait of Special K using the Loomis method. So let's get into it. As many of you will probably know, I do a lot of portraits. Well, not a lot. I do quite a few portraits on my channel. And I was never really a portrait artist. I was really into landscapes and watercolor landscapes, that kind of thing. And I got into portraits whilst I was doing when I first started doing the YouTube channel. But I've never had any formal training, so I kind of wing it with the portraits. They always seem to come out okay. But I don't measure anything. I just wade in with the paint and hope it comes out all right. And quite often I find myself having to cut things out and move them slightly and use a liquify tool to change stuff. So I've been banging on about it for a while, about how I was going to look for ways of improving my portrait work by measuring a little bit more. And the method that I've come up with is by I was going to say by an artist called Proko, or a YouTuber by Proko. I don't think he's invented this method. I suspect it was probably somebody called Loomis, but he does an awesome tutorial. His latest one, he's got 3 videos on it. I've watched the first 2. And so this is not a tutorial on how to use the Loomis method, because I won't be able to do it justice compared to what Proko does. So first of all, I'm putting links to Proko's videos in the description below if you want to learn how to use the Loomis method. So this video is about trying the Loomis method and seeing if it works for me, so I can improve my portrait painting. I'm using the Concepts app to begin sketching, and the reason for that is I could sort of sketch one head, then move the paper across and sketch another, and just compare them all and see how they look against one another. And it was surprising how difficult it is to get heads looking the same, average looking heads the same all the time. So I'm going to try it on this photo of the lovely Special K, and I begin by sketching out the Loomis head. So obviously I've got to make adjustments to the head to fit the shape of Special K's face and head, and also the angle that it's positioned at. So I'd sketch it out with a blue pencil and put that on a layer so I can keep using that as a reference. I thought that might be quite a good idea. And then, I can switch it off and you won't even know that I've used the Loomis head. So straight away, you can see here, you draw the circle, then the side circle for the side of the head. And it helped me straight away get the position of the ear in there without any bother. And I felt quite confident that I'd got it in the right place. And I did find myself actually just adjusting the Loomis head to fit Kerry's features as I was sketching, but it really made it easy. I knew exactly where her glasses went. Well, it was her eyebrows actually pretty much run level with the glasses, so that line there was for the eyebrows, so that made it easy to get the glasses in. The bottom of the nose came along the line, and although it kind of looks a bit weird to start with because there's no shading on it, so her face looks flat and fat, I suppose, because there's no shading on. I was wondering if it was going okay, but I stuck with it. And obviously, once you draw another shape in like the glasses, then you can use that for a reference to get the eyes in, and so on and so forth. So I've very quickly got the face in, and you'll notice, I mean, if you do follow me on YouTube, although I did get the hair wrong a bit there. God, she's got right egghead. But if you do follow me on YouTube, you'll know that I'm sort of tweaking stuff all the time. But in this one with the face, I didn't tweak it at all. I have got the hair really badly wrong. I think that was because I was like looking at Proko's video, which is absolutely excellent. I did adjust the eyes there slightly, you'll notice, to make the glasses a little bit bigger. But I think that's the only time I use the adjust command, the transform command. Anyway, as I was saying, Proko was sort of showing how to add a little bit of volume to the hair and don't go to the hairline. And I think I was overcompensating for that, remembering for what he said in the video. But you can see here now I've sort of quickly sort of got back into it again and tweaked it a little bit. So at this point I'm thinking it's not too bad. I mean, the lightness isn't brilliant, but I'm getting all of the proportions and shapes are pretty much in the same place. I haven't got like a tiny little ear or a massive nose and pin eyes and things, or nobody's looking like a Klingon, which I quite often get when I'm painting. So what I would suggest is because I've sort of sketched in the scarf around the neck, it's making a sort of a jaw look all weird and peculiar. So I needed to get into that at some point, because that was sort of throwing me and making me struggle somewhat, I feel. And also with the photo, it was difficult to get any detail in the eyes, so I kind of cover them up with the glasses. You notice there I've turned the Loomis head back on, because I was just wondering if I was wandering off the mark with the jaw, and I needed to just sort of use that Loomis head as a crutch, I suppose, just to make sure it was okay and it was in the right place. And now I'm feeling like it's because I'm getting the shading in, it's beginning to look a little bit like her. So at this point I move away from the face and have a little bit of a break, because it was quite stressful, as you can imagine, and went in with just sort of some really loose detail in the clothes. I wasn't really interested in drawing lots of detail in the clothes or the face, really. I mean, what it was really about was, will this work as a way of using as a measure to set out my portraits and hopefully get there a lot quicker and not have these weird and wonderful looking creations in between. And so far I'm very happy with where I'm going. You see, it is an average, and Proko kept saying that the Loomis head is an average, and nobody is actually average. You have to tweak it for every single person you draw, and he gave examples of how to draw different people's heads. I remember Tom Hanks he was saying that he's got a big forehead, and so you have to make adjustments for that. So I was finding all the time that I was tweaking things. Once I'd got everything just sort of following that at the average. Well, I didn't actually work completely to average. I did tweak it right from the beginning, but I did find myself tweaking things as I was going all the way along, to be honest, but only a tiny little bit, and with the pencil. And apart from the glasses, which I used the transform tool, I felt crashed and burned a little bit there. That was the only time that I had to change anything drastically. All the changes were made with the eraser and then resketching over it again. And you can see it, I've sort of kept the Loomis head on in the background now, just as a guide to reassure me that everything's sort of in the right place. And it's amazing now, the nose finishes at the bottom of the line, exactly where it was supposed to, and the jawline I got right, and the ear was in the right place, and everything just fell into place. It was almost as if I was drawing it on the grid method. That's where you sort of divide your paper into squares, and then you square up the photo that you're working off and copy everything into individual squares. So it felt like I was doing that, because everything was very easy to get in its place. And it's an awkward portrait, because Special K's tilting at head, she's also leaning back, so you've got sort of distorted perspective going off there, and everything. So it's not an easy one to do, and it's certainly not an easy one to do with the Loomis method. But I hope you all agree with me. I think it's really working. I mean, it's not the most, it's not the best portrait I've ever done by any stretch, but it was just an exercise. And there you can see that is, I've put the Loomis head on again, so you can see exactly where everything falls. And then I'm sort of continually tweaking it, because I'm not 100% happy yet. I felt I needed a little bit more shadows. The side of the face looked a little bit flat, so I'm going in there. I'm just tweaking stuff a little bit with a liquify brush, just really tiny little things, nothing like I've had to do before, which are real major alterations. Just sort of pushing things around a bit, and then shading in a little bit more. So the signature went on quite premature with this one, to be honest, because I've done quite a lot more to it. Adding some more shading on the side of the face, and I think that is what sort of makes it, that shading on the side of the face stops it looking sort of fat. And then I put these red lines on another layer, because I wanted to get those highlights in on a jaw, and I just sort of sketched them in where I felt they wanted to be as guidelines. And it was a layer that I could use to sort of use the eraser to lift out, and then I switched it off once I'd done it, and I got that sort of highlight on the side of a jaw. And then just finishing off with a few more black lines in there, a bit more shading under the chin, around the side of the chin, checking it again with that Loomis head, and just left it switched on. I just felt I needed to tweak the hair a little bit. It looked a bit ragged and not really up to the standard of the rest of the drawing. So that is it. That is my portrait using the Loomis method to sketch out the very lovely Special K. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, a big thumbs up as always is much appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, because I have lots of videos like this and I would love to be sharing them with you. And don't forget, ding the bell so you'll be informed every time I release a new video. See you in the next one. Bye.